All right, guys. Welcome to the Hyped Cast, the first ever episode of the Hyped Cast. I am joined today by Prod to God and Orbz. I just want to take this time to talk about what Hyped Esports is, what we're about, what our goal is, what our mission is. We are a group of hardworking individuals. We're like a family here. We're all tight knit. We have a lot of good vibes with all the people here. We are both equally content oriented and competitive oriented. As you'll notice, our challengers team has always been, at the very least, pretty good to great. And we're ramping up everything on the content side. Make sure you guys drop us a follow over on Twitter at Hyped Esports. You can also find us on TikTok at Hyped Esports. And you can find us on YouTube at Hyped Esports. So make sure you guys drop us a follow on all those socials. And I guess our mission is nothing crazy. We're just trying to live out our dreams and help other people live out their dreams in the esports scene.
I will say we
Stay hyped.
yeah, stay hyped. I will say that new episodes of the Hypecast will be going live every Wednesday anywhere you can get your podcasts. We're gonna take this VOD straight to YouTube. I think we're gonna try to get it on Spotify and Applecast too, or whatever it's called. So anywhere you want to listen to it, we'll have the audio in there. Obviously, if you want to see the visuals, we have YouTube or the live stream. VODs is where you're gonna want to watch. Um, we got a couple topics today. Noah, do you want to go over those before we get right into them?
Leading into our podcast here, we're going to be talking about the Boston Major. We're going to be talking about Thursday's matches, who we think is going to be, taking it on top of that. We're also going to be kind of giving the general idea of who we think is going to be taking the Boston Major. We are also going to be talking about two of the GOATs retiring. We have Scump being retired, and we have Tom Brady officially announcing his retirement.
Today,
And
sad.
I think he's for real this
I
time.
I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back out unless like the Dolphins want
The
to.
Jets want him.
I'm sure the Jets want him now, but are they gonna get him? No.
Probably not. Probably not.
They
And
got
then going
freaking Nathaniel Hackett as an offensive coordinator. It's not happening,
Oh,
bro.
it's chalked.
It's chalked.
I
It's
forgot about
chalked.
that.
And then going to close this podcast out, we have Orbz Locks. He's going to be doing some talking about his, sports picks. He has some parlays he's been hitting pretty recently. He's be talking about, a lot of his picks and why he's been going based off those picks. And that's pretty much going to be wrapping up this podcast for us today.
We also have our Super Bowl picks in the Orbz Lock segment. So we're all gonna pick our Super Bowl winner, and we can add some remarks in if we think a certain player is gonna go over yardage and stuff. If they want to hop in on the sports betting with me, but we are gonna be doing our Super Bowl picks of the year. We might be doing a watch party in Cord for the Super Bowl. Pretty sure. All right, let's get into the Boston Major, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Let's pull up the bracket here. Yeah. We're gonna have that cover up our cameras so we can see the whole bracket. Um, First match of the day. Well, that's actually the last match of the day. We'll start with the first match. We'll go in order of matches. Um,
So it's going to be Minnesota Rocker versus New York Subliners.
we'll start in the with D. We'll go work our way to Noah, and then I'll go last for each pick. We'll go in that order for each matchup. So D, who you got taking New York versus Minnesota?
New York until Rocker decides to not be mid. My honest opinion is Rocker's a very good team when they want to be, and I don't know if they want to be a good team right now. I think New York has shown they won Major 1. They are already on paper a better team just due to that. So I'm definitely going to take New York. No question.
So on my picks, I'm gonna have to agree with D there. I think I'm gonna go with the New York Subliners. I think you have a solid roster there. You have Hydra, which is probably gonna be arguably the best sub in the game. You have Skies, which he started off a little bit slow online, but whenever it's come to land, he is formed. You've had Priesthood that the past few years he has not looked like himself, but in this game he's truly kind of turned back into that player that everybody saw him being at the very beginning of his career, being an absolute lethal unit on the map, and it's just kind of a solid roster following up with Kismet. Kismet has came into this league and he has actually made a name for himself. He used to be in the league. He wasn't, very talked about. He came back into the league, and Kismet is arguably one of the best subs in the game as well, in my personal opinion. Rocker has looked good at times. You have Attached that has taken over the AR role. You have Bance, which has been a little bit inconsistent. You have Afro that has been pretty inconsistent. Their last match that they played online, Afro actually was doing his own thing, turned into a unit. Back to stage one, but I just see New York Subliners talent's gonna outperform Minnesota Rocker.
All right. And with my pick, I want to mix things up a little bit. We can't just all go the same way. So we have an upset alert. I'm going to go with Minnesota here, okay? If Minnesota can tee up like they have in the first couple weeks of the first qualifier and play like that Minnesota did when they were 3-0 to start Major 1 qualifiers, I think they can pull this upset out. We need the best out of all four of those players. I mean, that's a solid roster when you look at it on paper. They just have to play to their potential. And if we get the New York we got in some of these qualifier matches, if they don't come out hot like they usually do, I could see this upset happening. So
all Minnesota has to do is pull out the SAE, and it's over.
Call it the SAE, bro.
Call it the SAE, bruv. All right, moving on to Boston. I feel like the Boston versus FaZe. I feel like this one's gonna pretty be lopsided with the picking, but I could be wrong. D, who do you got?
I'm going to take Boston Breach, although I do technically think right now FaZe has been playing more consistently overall. I still think Boston has their number. I think this is going to be kind of like the Surge FaZe effect that we've been seeing for the last 3 years, except now it's Boston. I think Boston just has FaZe's number. I think they match up really well against them. So we'll see. But I'm going to take Boston.
Once again, I'm gonna agree with D here. I feel like FaZe are a powerhouse team. Obviously, their hard points are getting back to the powerhouse that they used to be. Their searches on Embassy, at least, it looked absolutely outstanding against Optic Texas in the online qualifier match. And their controls they're not they're all right, but I just see Boston have the number in the end. I mean, as long as Boston comes out and performs, Boston have beat them so far. Boston, I think, on paper, with how inconsistent FaZe has been, are the better team. With that being said, it's just gonna pretty much come down to how I think Nero and Vivid perform. I feel like that is going to be a big matchup going into it to see if they can truly outmatch the Simp and Abizi. Simp has been not having a very good year this year as well. I mean, stat-wise, statistically, the past few years he's been in the pro league, he has had monstrous stats, and he had a 0.87 hard point KD overall as of now, and that's just not the caliber player of Simp that we've seen. So I'm gonna have to go with Boston.
Yeah, and I'm taking Boston too, and I just realized I wasn't using my HyperX mic. I was using my Astros for that first segment, and I apologize for that because that probably sounded like shit. Yeah, I'm gonna take Boston too. I think if we get the FaZe that played against Optic in that last match, and they come out slow, well, I guess that was a worse sheep, wasn't it? If they can't maintain the pressure they put on from the first map, then Boston is going to take it pretty handily. I'd say probably a 3-1. I think FaZe might take that first hard point, or maybe the fourth hard point. That don't work like that, though. I think FaZe will take that first hard point, but then Boston's gonna regain in the search and take the rest of the maps, and it's gonna be a 3-1 for Boston. So
I'm gonna go 3-2 Boston. I feel like FaZe are too strong of a team to count them out of every single match. I feel like it's gonna be a close series all the way out, but I feel like into the end of the day, I feel like Boston's gonna pull it out.
I'm gonna have to agree with the 3-2 just because I think FaZe is certainly not a good control team this year, and it really shows because they couldn't close out against Optic because they couldn't win the control, and Dashy was having bad, and once he won that
Dashi was
control
having
for Optic,
very
because I
bad.
mean, let's be honest, it was a one-man army. It was disgusting what he was doing to FaZe, and control kind of sealed FaZe's fate. Also, Slasher trolled by standing up on the hard point when he needed to lay down for 2 seconds, but that's besides the point. So our next match is it Ultra
Yep,
Gorillas?
Ultra
It is.
Gorillas.
I am going to have to go with Ultra for this.
Yeah.
Gorillas have been playing a lot better. I have to give them credit where credit is due. They are playing teams a lot closer, but before this year started, I said that there are a couple of prove it teams. All right. And what I mean by that is there's teams that, even if they're good on paper, even if they have played well recently, they still have a lot to prove because they haven't won shit. And one of those teams is LAG for me. Their one win on a major came in Vanguard. And honestly, that was maybe the single flukiest major win I've ever seen because it literally it came on the back of Spart Volk, and then the Volk got GA'd and they were bad again. I don't think LAG has really impressed me, although Arcides paired with their academy team being moved up to the starting role has been a lot better. I still think Ultra's a better team overall, so I'm going to take Ultra.
Part of me really wants to take Ultra, and part of me is gonna kick myself for choosing LAG. But I feel like LAG have something to prove.
Is that
I
is that
know.
an LAG pick?
I think it's gonna be an LAG pick.
We got another upset alert. I think it's
truly
warranted
think,
for that one.
I truly think, Scrappy. Everybody knows Scrappy's a flashy player. He likes to shit talk a lot. Live on the CDO stream, he wanted to say, I don't beef with shit stands. I truly, if I'm LAG, I'm pissed the fuck off. I'm coming for blood. I'm going to do everything I can to beat Toronto early, put them down. And I think Jodis Seeds has a lot to prove in this match, as well as, RC's been playing absolutely outstanding. Exceed's going to have to, step up big, and you have Adam Assault that's going to have to, truly be that powerhouse AR that he used to be. And, I think if Gorillas can come out and take a pretty convincingly win in this hard point, their search is good. We know their search is good. The academy players used to grind search a little bit, so it's always going to be a top tier at that. And it's just going to see who the better team we see coming out in that matchup. But I'm gonna go Gorillas 3-2.
I'm gonna take Ultra. Unfortunately, I want to pick LAG so badly just because I do think that Scrappy's getting a little ahead of himself. He's still a rookie, but I'm just gonna take Ultra just because of the last matchup we saw. Honestly, between the two, I will say I will say this as a contingency: if LAG take the first hard point, they're gonna win the series. But I don't think they will, so I'm taking Ultra 3-1. That's that. I mean, that's pretty much it. They'd have to come out and fry and take that first map, and if they do, I think they could win the series. But I just don't see that happening.
I also want to say I completely agree with. I want to say LAG because dude Arcides is that guy.
He's
He's
really
honestly
is.
been that guy for a long time. I have nothing but respect for him, and I would love to see him win. Like I really would, but I just don't know if LAG is up to snuff with the competition right now. Um, so yeah, but I think I'm gonna take Ultra 3-0.
Alrighty,
I
so
I think the maps will be close, but I think Ultra 3-0.
moving into the last match of Thursday. It's going to be the Los Angeles Thieves versus Optic Texas.
This is the matchup everyone wants to know the prediction.
This is where it
this is very hard to pick as a biased person, but
dude, I mean, look, you can see right here, dude. I got my Optic.
Yeah. The bias is real, but I think the pick is easy just based on seeding.
Honestly, it's not easy for me. It really isn't because hear me out. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna take Optic, because it's my favorite team. Also, great team on paper. They just fried Atlanta FaZe. Like they joked them bad.
Those last 3
Like
maps weren't even
Dashi
close.
literally just dropped the career CDL record high KD in a series. Like it was like
He
a
also broke
1.47.
the he also broke the
It was
kill record
disgusting.
for maps or kills on a map too, right?
Yeah, like
41
that was disgusting.
on this
It was
game,
disgusting.
obviously.
It was monstrous. It was an absolutely disgusting act. Yeah, it was not good. And so I do want to pick Optic, but it's not easy for me because I still don't know if Optic has the consistency down yet because they have been
I will agree with that.
they have been the most inconsistent team this year. They have been super up. They've also been super down. They have been beating teams that are probably better than them on paper, and they have been losing to teams worse than them on paper by a mile. So, I do think LA Thieves are probably the better team overall. I think LA Thieves are a lot more consistent than Optic right now, but Optic is hot. They just destroyed FaZe. I think they have the number 1 seed, right?
Optic
So
is one seed.
I'm still gonna take Optic, but I think it's gonna be 3-2. I think this is one that's gonna go the distance, and if not, at worst 3-1.
So my picks here, like going into competitive, uh, Optic was a team that I truly got into. You had Big Timer, you had Nate Shot, you had Skunk, and those three kind of paved the way for me really supporting competitive Call of Duty and getting into it. Um, so the only issue that I have here is Optic are still, I don't know how many scrims they've had under their belt. I don't know how much they've really worked on. You had them fry Toronto. You had them lose to a team. You had to, what was it, London they lost to? You lose
Believe
to
so.
London Royal Ravens, a team that is arguably one of the worst teams in the league.
At the
And
moment, yeah.
then you come out and you come and you fry FaZe in reverse sweep. So I truly think it kind of depends on the Optic Texas we see.
Yeah.
Do we see them starting strong? Because you see Optic every single year. Very first day of LAN, if not the first 2 days of the LAN, they usually start very slow. They start slow and it knocks from the losers bracket, and they just don't have enough gas in the tank to
Yeah.
to get to that winners final.
And that's
We've
what's
seen
been
that time and time again. And I mean, the only thing that I could really kind of consider helping Optic Texas is Kenny was sick. I don't know if he's fully healed or fully healthy. The last match that they played in the online qualifier, he was not having the best series that he's had this year. So I don't know if that's still gonna kind of be a thing that they're not fully practiced and up to par what they should be. Surely by now they are, but I'm gonna go Optic Texas 3-2.
I think it's also gonna. I also agree that it's gonna depend on which Optic we see. Are we gonna see the Dashi that just shot 41 kills online and broke the KD record for the CDL in a series, or are we gonna see the Optic that just freaking won a major and then went into major 2 of last year and completely went in the losers bracket right off the rip, losing their first round matchup? I think based on the opponent, I'm gonna go Optic 3-2 as well. I think LA Thieves always plays them close. And it was Vegas, by the way. They lost to Vegas 3-1.
It is. I see that. Flunk, thank you for that flunk. It was Vegas.
It's one of those L teams, bro.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I mean, to be completely honest, Vegas, this is one thing that I could see. I could see Vegas kind of being like a Cinderella story coming in, and then
Vegas is my sleeper pick out of losers. I say we all pick one out of losers that could make a run.
I would.
I
I
think
would.
Vegas is one of those prove it teams that I was talking about
Yeah.
because they are statistically speaking the literal bottom of the barrel of the league. They are absolutely dog water compared to the other 11 teams. They've never won shit. They've never been fucking close, by the way. Also, I like this is because it's absurd, right? Like in Modern Warfare, they never won anything. Go to Cold War, they didn't win anything. Go to last year, they didn't win anything. In fact, for the last 2 titles, they've struggled to even win 1 series on the whole year. Okay? Like, I'm not talking on LAN, I'm talking online too. They struggled to win more than like 2 games
What was it?
the whole
Almost.
year.
What was it?
Oh,
Wasn't it almost a year without a win? Like 300 something days without a series win. It
yes,
was
literally,
unbelievable. It was
literally.
unbelievable. I don't
So
even know if that's
they
ever
are
gonna get
the
broken. I don't know
number
if that
one,
that record will not get
and
broken.
and I'm sure chat will back me up on this. They are the number one prove it team
Yep.
because they have the most to prove. They have
Yep.
the least amount of wins, and even though this team is probably better than a good amount of teams on paper, because I mean Clayster's a vet, like Temp is a vet, like TJ Halley's a vet, like their team is good, right? But they haven't won shit, and until they do, like a whole major, they have to there has to be not just a series win. That's not good enough. Until they prove it, I don't think I can ever take them as a dark horse pick.
I would kind of agree with that. My biggest thing is, they did beat an Optic Texas team that was newly formed. They had hardly any practice underneath their belt, and it truly came out to they were the hotter team that day. And if Vegas truly come out and they show that they're here to play,
Yep.
you have Clayster and Temp and obviously TJ as vets that need to truly be vocal leaders on that team, which Clayster is going to be that vocal leader. I think IGL as well. He always has been pretty much. He's very vocal when it comes to games and making sure they actually do stuff the right way. I think it kind of relies on Pro Loot and TJ Halley though. I feel like those two have been the most two inconsistent on their team as of now. You've had Temp had some slow games, but he in this game it's not very hard to have slow games. Everybody shoots straight in this game. Everybody
Yep.
has a gunny. It truly just comes down to better teamwork and who just is a better team at the end of the day. So that's why I think a lot of these series are going to be very, very close. I don't see them being too many blowouts. I could see like a phase Vegas.
It's
being
very
a
hard.
blowout.
I haven't seen many 3-0s this year. I mean, it's just it's
the talent
the
not
talent.
having slide canceling or obviously snaking is in the league. Phase up, you can do it too. Stupid shit. I don't think it should be. I think it should just be GA, but it's never going to be GA to the point of not doing
I
it.
don't even.
So with that being said, I mean like the skill gap is very very
The hard
small.
point just
whenever
based on
you're
who
talking.
rotates first and wins the rotation fights. It's literally as simple as that. So you can be the best Mercado team and still lose that map because you didn't rotate, or you get screwed by a freaking stupid spawn. Like we won't even get into the spawns on this.
Yeah,
Game.
that'd be like a whole hour segment.
Yeah.
But I just want to say this as well. The thing that Vegas has like always struggled with is they've never had a superstar on their team.
Nope, never.
Like almost literally never. Like they had Kismet in 2019, right? But like other than that, I couldn't even tell you.
He wasn't in final. He wasn't.
He wasn't.
Back then.
Yeah, he wasn't even peak
Bro,
yet then.
who's the original
And right
roster?
now,
Wasn't it like
I just need to say this. I like Prolute. I think Prolute is certainly a good COD player. I think he has deserved his shot in the league.
Yep.
But I also know he is not a superstar.
No.
He has never been a superstar.
No.
He will likely never be a superstar.
If we're
And
going in Madden
honestly,
terms,
TJ Halley has not been a superstar since like Black Ops 4. So it's been a long time since TJ Halley has been that guy. Like he's never been really terrible, but I remember we had a discussion maybe 2 weeks ago. I was like, when's the last time TJ Halley's gone positive on the whole series? Like when?
it's been a
I
minute.
honestly can't. I could not tell you. So I definitely think this is the Temp and Clayster show because those are the only two players that have been consistently positive at the end of the series. Now KD isn't everything, understandably, but when half of your team is going consistently hard negative at the end of the series, it's hard to win. It's inarguable. It's hard to win like that.
Yeah. All right.
I think if I had to take a sleeper pick, I'm taking Mutineers. I think their team is probably of the bad teams the most likely to make a run with.
If I'm going sleeper picks, I'm with everything D said, I'm taking Seattle, and if that might not even be a sleeper pick, I don't even think they should be in losers.
Personally, I wouldn't
Agreed.
I wouldn't take Seattle as a sleeper pick. We all know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
I just think that
I'm just taking them as that because
hearing
they're
the
in
rumor-
losers. Like if we're gonna talk about sleeper picks, I say you got to take somebody coming out of losers already because they're not. They can't lose. They literally have to win their whole run. They
And
can't lose.
I would definitely agree. My biggest thing that it kind of comes down to though is whenever you've done a sleeper pick. I mean, I I guess you could technically put Seattle in the talking for them being in losers. I think a lot of Seattle's issues probably came after hearing that Pred really wanted to go to Optic. I think that kind of made it maybe a little bit of the relationships on that team a little bit off.
Yeah, I think that's their
Obviously,
big
because they
issue. I
kind
think
of,
that's why they're in losers right now. To be
I
honest,
think I
I
think you
think
see that
comms are off.
they kind of bounced back a little bit, but it's still not the team that we were used to be, used to seeing out of Seattle. Pred he's good, but I feel like Pred's not the caliber that he was in Vanguard. Maybe it's he's still trying to get used to his role in this game
Yeah,
on Surge. This game plays a little bit different. It's a little bit more slower paced. It's a lot more cruddy being sound horde. You can't fly across the map, make flashy plays, make sneak plays half the time just for the fact that you were so loud, especially with this loudness equalizer. It's just it's everybody's sound horse. It's a joke in the game. There's no red dots, so it's a lot different of a Call of Duty than we're used to seeing. A sleeper pick, I would say it would have to be somebody coming out of losers, but at the same time, I kind of want to put like LAG in the sleeper pick because I feel like LAG, as long as
that's a
they
good
are
one.
playing, I feel like as long as they're playing their vetoes right and they actually stay true to their game, and they all come out with the same mindset of we need to play as a team, we need to be the best team and the best version of ourselves as we can, and actually play the right way, and we will beat these teams.
Yeah.
As long as their young guns don't get flustered and they stay consistent with the voice of our cities leading them, I feel like LAG could truly be a sleeper pick.
I don't hate that pick at all.
I mean,
Alright.
if you look on paper, it's kind of one of those teams that it could be a very streaky team, get hot at the right time. I mean,
Like D
anything's possible.
said, they're a prove it team. This is their chance to do it. They won Major 2 last year. Maybe they'll win Major 2 this year. You never know. Their chat told us who the Paris roster was in 2019. It was Kismet, Zed, Shocks, Phantoms, Luca, Dens, and Brezzy.
Who are all of those people?
2 of them are in management.
Genuinely.
One is in the league. One is in challengers, and the rest are retired. So
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that was the wackest whack team I've
Yep,
ever
yep.
seen. Like it was
Yeah,
bad
they've really never had anything going until
now.
until
And
now.
this is and we all know like there was the
like
whole
who's
issue
the leader
with
of
them
that?
not
Who would be
putting
the
money
leader
up.
on that roster, bro? Like they have a true leader in Clayster on this roster. They have a chance.
They might have the oldest team, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because even ProLoot has been around for a
Yeah.
long time.
They might.
He's been around, but you can't sit there and say they're the oldest team. I mean,
I think.
Clayster is literally the oldest player in the league.
Yes,
Average age, it's probably Los
I mean,
Vegas.
if we're going based off of average age, yes, but if we're going based off of rookie and vet, then no. I mean, obviously you have some teams that have been four vets. I mean, you could put Shotzi being a vet now just for the fact that he's one champ. You have Shotzi and Ender one champ.
Mickey Mouse.
You have Dashy that he's not one champ.
Wait.
But he's been going insane.
That is true, Hyper. Crazy. The craziest roster was the Ultra roster in 2019. 10 fucking players on the roster.
Honestly.
I love Shotzi, but respectfully, and I guess I'll save this for the next segment.
Yeah.
Because it has to do with the next segment.
It does fit into the next segment, and we'll get it. We're about to get into that after we make our picks. Who is winning Major 2? D. We'll make it short and sweet. Who's winning Major 2?
I'm gonna go with Optic.
Noah.
Oh, see now this is a hard one for me.
As Optic fans, we want to go with Optic, but do we think it's gonna happen?
I do want to go with Optic. But on terms of who I think are the best top teams in the game right now, I'm gonna say it's arguably Subliners, Toronto in the finals. I feel like Toronto has something to prove. Especially after losing the way they did. I just feel like Toronto really has something to prove in the finals here. And I mean, Subliners looked very, very iffy on their last match. Very iffy. They got beat.
Yeah.
Like very iffy to not look as good as they did in the major. I think Toronto just come out and they I think they take a beating on subliners. So I'm gonna probably have to go with Toronto Ultra winning this major.
I'm taking Optic as well. I think it's the best time to pick them just because they're coming out one seed. Um, if I'm gonna leeway into our one of our later segments. Sometimes the one seeds just take it, man. Like look at the Super Bowl, one seed Eagles, one seed Chiefs. It just kind of happens sometimes. The best just have to win it, and they're the best right now when it comes to this qualifier. And they had one little miniature slip up, like the Chiefs did against the Colts in Week 3. Kind of just happens. Um, Taking Optic, I think they're gonna play Ultra or New York in winners or grand finals, depending on which one of them wins their losers match. Um, if we want to talk about challengers at all, we can. I like our roster from the Hype Esports.
Definitely.
I
Definitely
like what
like
they
our
bring to the table. I think they're gonna turn some heads even more than they already are. Um, Challenger Challengers is a weird space right now. I love that they're getting streams. I love that it's getting streamed. I love that um, it really hasn't been the same team winning every time so far in these cups and stuff. It's been a bunch of different teams winning. A lot of people showcasing their talent. Already Challengers players getting called up to the league. But we gotta fix the team pass bullshit. We
Yes,
gotta
we do.
fix it. We have to.
Whenever you have, obviously top teams, top challengers teams that are struggling to get a team pass because it is rumored that people are buying more than one team pass and they are selling them for more. That is an issue that I think truly needs to be taken in the hands because you can't sit there and only release a certain amount, which the Optic Texas Major, what do they have, like 64 teams, 64
Yeah, if
team
you're
passes?
gonna cap,
Yeah.
if you're gonna cap the major, cap how many passes you can buy when you go to checkout.
Yes.
100%. I think
I've
what it
heard
should
rumors of a team with 3. I've heard a team one with 8. I've seen multiple with 2. That's already a fourth of the team passes with 3 people. Like,
But like, can we talk about that real quick? Because like,
yeah,
this is a problem, and I've said this on Twitter publicly a lot. Is there's an inherent issue with the Call of Duty scene where everybody is a snake. Nobody
there's
has any sense of
no
friendship, any sense of loyalty. Everybody, it's a dog eat dog scene. And if
no
they feel
integrity.
like they can go find or build a better team without you, then that's why you end up on a 4-man roster that has 3 team passes because 3 different people all bought a team pass just in case they get screwed over.
And
And
before that major,
honestly, it's a problem that needs to be fixed within the community itself first.
and
That's just
you
me.
know what? They might even need those 3 passes because with how the scene is, that team's going to be split up by major 3, and they're going to need those 3 passes because they're all 3 going to be on different rosters. It's just how
I
it's
think
like.
I think the worst part that it kind of comes down to is whenever you're in like the process of buying a team pass, I feel like personally you should have to enable or like put your team name. I feel like you should have a dead set like roster lock before the team pass is fully go on
Yes.
sale. You need to have your team name. Literally, whenever you go to purchase that team pass, you should have a team name, and it should literally not allow multiple teams with the same team name to buy a team pass if they are already confirmed getting a team pass. I think that is the only way that you're not going to fuck over a lot of challengers teams on people being greedy or not trusting, their teammates and just kind of being worried about getting a team pass so they can attend the major. And it's just kind of one of those things that, something has to be done to fix this issue or you're going to have a lot of top challenger players just not being able to go play at
Like,
the major. And I mean, let's be completely honest. You have some of these top teams that are struggling to get team passes, and you have Billy Bob Joe that lives in Timbuktu that can't shoot his gun fucking straight. That just spent $400 and almost $500 on a team pass that buys a team pass to go get double first rounded because he literally was faster to buying the team pass. I mean,
I really don't like the cap thing. I really don't like the cap. I really don't. Because exactly what you just said. I've seen players that have never gotten out of top 28 that has 2 passes. Like
I mean,
you're getting DFR at this major with 64 teams going. I'm sorry, you're not getting out of the first round. You're wasting your money. But that's for another day, and we'll talk about probably on the next Hypecast about competitive integrity in the game and exactly what D said about fixing how we could fix some of these issues in the scene because we really don't have time with the segments we have to dive deeper into that.
The
So
only downside, I'm not.
on the note of representing orgs in challengers, let's talk about who's representing our podcast today. Orbs, you want to talk about our first sponsor today?
Our first sponsor today, that we didn't put them in the beginning graphic because we're still getting a logo, but our first sponsor is Star Cellular. They are based out of Defiance, Ohio. They are a small phone reseller and computer store. Um, they resurface screens. They phone screens. They repair computers. They install Windows. All of that. They sell new laptops, gaming PCs, custom built, by the way. Um, Anything you can think of electronic, they have it there. To be honest, that's where I got my computer. I had a custom made. I got to help build it myself due to special circumstances, but um, they resell Verizon, AT&T, prepaid, all of that, and they're very affordable. I think their most expensive plan is $70, and it's unlimited talk and text and like 30 gigs of data or something like that, and that's for both Verizon and AT&T. It's pretty cheap, to be honest. I've been using it for years. Um, that's our first sponsor of the day, and we'll be getting into more sponsors later. Um, Anything else we want to talk about on this topic of Boston Challengers?
I think we're all good.
All right. There's so much to talk about in the Challenger scene. We'll probably have to do a whole Challengers segment on one of these next podcasts because we're already at the 40-minute mark.
Next week for that.
Next week. Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights. Yep.
So for our next segment, we need to talk about something incredibly sad and unfortunately something very real that just happened, which is that Optic Scumpy, the GOAT of Call of Duty, in my opinion, just retired. Today, also just retired, is Tom Brady, the unanimous GOAT of the NFL. Now, some parallels I want to draw real quick are that while Tom Brady is the winningest NFL player of all time, and while Scump may not be the winningest Call of Duty player of all time, the impact and influence that they both had on their own respective game is unmatched. It is unparalleled. The level of fans and the level of haters that both of them have had for years is, in my opinion, exactly the same. Now, I don't know what your opinion is, but I think Brady is done. Like, this is it. Like, he went out sad. I don't think he wants to even risk having another going out sad season like he did this year. But Scump, on the other hand, there's a chance, I think, that Scump competes again.
I mean, he could pull a Clay, bro, where he retired or took a break right before champs, and he's just gonna come back because they need him, and then make a run.
So personally, seeing how he's retired, middle of the season, not even middle of the season, very beginning of the season, after he said he's gonna give it one more year. I don't think Scump is going to come back just for the fact that he just got engaged. He has a fiance that he's trying to actually truly fully start his life outside of gaming. Obviously he's still doing content. That's been one thing that I know for the past at least 4 years. He said heavily he loves doing content. He just can't being a competitor. So I think this is really going to help him on the terms of getting to do content full time. I know he loves it. Obviously his watch parties have been blowing up, been averaging way more, probably like double, if not almost triple the views of the CDL stream. Um, you know, he has the support behind him with all of the green wall. Yes, the Green Wall fans are very, they're good and they're bad. You have times where they're the most toxic fans, but at the same time, you have times where they're literally the most loyal. And obviously, Scump has done a lot for the Call of Duty League. I mean, he's done a lot for Call of Duty as a whole, just, with all his years of competing. I think he's fully done. And I think he's fully done competing. I don't think he is done being involved in Call of Duty. I feel like, you're gonna see him on maybe the COD League stream. You might see him on the desk. You might see him do special shows on some of that special appearances, and possibly getting in the management of Optic Gaming. I'm not too sure really where he's gonna go outside of streaming, but I think he's got a bright future regardless of streaming. Um, he is obviously one of the most likable figures in the scene, and I just feel like no matter what he does, he's going to absolutely take over. Now, in terms of Tom Brady,
Tom
kind of the
Brady.
same goes with him. Um, I woke up and I saw that he retired. Everything blown up on Twitter. I was scrolling through Twitter. I saw his video. Watching the video, it's just gonna be, pretty much he said you only get one heartfelt sad retirement. He's like, and I wasted that last year. He's like, so this one I'm not gonna, is gonna be short and sweet. He got emotional at the end. I truly think he's done. I don't know how much more his body can put up with football. Obviously, his team this year has not looked very good. He's not been the caliber of Tom Brady that we have, obviously been used to seeing. So I think he's finally realized, he's to the point of his career where he's done almost all he can. He's what, 25 years? Is that how long? 25 years he's been competing in
Dude,
the
it's
NFL.
he was
That's a long
drafted in
time.
what? 19 was it 1999 draft? Am
I believe so.
I
He
think it
was
was
a year or two before Breeze, and I think Breeze went 2000 or 2001.
I mean, you're throwing a player that's been in their sport for so long, especially a physical sport. Your body is going to eventually say it's had enough, and I think he's kind of gotten to that point. I think he finally realized he's gotten to that point,
2000
and
draft.
I think it's
2000.
inarguably the most physical sport that there
Yep,
is, other
2000.
than maybe like actual MMA. But that's combat sports. That's kind of different.
2000 it was the 2000 draft, so 20 we'll say 22 years technically, with it just now becoming 2023.
Yeah.
22 seasons. That is unbelievable. You don't even see non-contact sports athletes playing that long. Like that is absurd.
I mean that just kind of goes to show you like how in love he was with the game.
He
Obviously, like a lot
he
of his
said that in
personal
his
life,
speech. He literally
and a
did.
lot of his a lot of his personal life. He got a divorce with his wife that he had at the time.
Yep.
All this stuff just for the fact he just loved the game so much to the point where he didn't want to stop.
And
And I
he
mean,
knew that
it's
Giselle was cheating.
that's besides the point. But I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with Scump as well. Like Scump obviously wanted to do this last year for the fans. And
Absolutely.
watching his video, being a grown ass man, having me literally like tear up and break down watching this. Being a support of him for so long, you can truly tell how much it meant to him, and how much he truly felt like he let down the fans. Um,
Which he didn't, by the way.
obviously you see Scump as a very like positive vibey character. Whenever they lose, obviously you see visions and stuff where he's sad, but I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Scump emotional and
No,
tears. So I mean,
that was
that's kind of one of those things that seeing that, and it's hard for being a fan for so long and seeing that he's finally officially done. Whenever growing up, that's all you used to watch. Used to watch him take over. You used to watch him being menace on the map. You had the Optic Dynasty. That was one of the best teams we've ever seen. And it's kind of sad to see that all four of the Dynasty members have officially retired from Call of Duty.
They are officially done. That is the end of an era.
something that I don't think we will ever see again is going to be a dynasty team.
With
I
with
truly
with
with,
how
with the
with
way
how,
don't
with
think
how the
that's
league with how the league's set up, I just can't see a dynasty being.
I don't think that's
I
true, but I don't think there will ever be a dynasty quite like Optic, because I don't think there will ever be a group of people as influential and as game changing as Optic were. And on the note of it being the end of an era, and on the note of them all retiring from COD, because not all of them are completely retired. We all know Formal went to Halo.
And is
Now,
still
Scump
balling
finished
out.
his career with the highest KD averages at every event in COD history. I mean, he consistently had the highest KDs at every LAN event, and it's not close. Like the comparison that people make to him and Crim6 is a fair one, because Crim6 finished as a 3-time champ. I think he's won MVP before, if I'm not
I
incorrect.
think so.
I know he's won the X Games gold medal, and
With Scump.
I mean, he was
Scump has
very,
two.
very good. Scump has 2 X Games gold medals, and Scump also, again, this is kind of like the Drew Brees argument that I always used to make, is that as an individual, what you are able to do as an individual, not a team stat, not a ring, because a ring, let's be honest, it's a team stat.
It
Always
is a
has
team
been,
stat.
always will be.
Always has
So, as an individual, Scump is by far the go. By far, it's not even close. The only time I think a ring can not count as a team stat is when you're Michael Jordan. And the reason I say that is because there's less people on the court in basketball. Dude went and played baseball, came back and got a three-peat again. That's
I mean,
it'll never happen again.
let's look at the roster that Scump won his first X Games with. Proofy, content creator. Imbos, content creator.
Yep.
Krim, or not Krim, Clay and him. Clay still balling out in the league, don't get me wrong. Clay up there, top 5 of all time, 100%. But back in
100%
Ghost,
top 5.
Clay wasn't even close to the top yet. He was still building his dynasty, his legacy at that time. Scump already had his from the BO2 ranked grind, the BO2 content at the Scuff House. He was literally already had his built. He put that team on his back that event. I mean, Clay got that last kill to win it using a freaking bulldog, man. Like
how times have changed.
how
man.
times have changed. You could use shotguns in that era. That's crazy to do. Like
You could use smoke grenades that weren't one
Dude.
way. You have dead silence as a perk, and you can't be heard across the whole fucking map. Literally, sound horn leg in a quarter. Like it's just times have changed.
And on
For
the
the
other
worse.
side of that coin, for Crim6, he has literally been on a super team in every ring he ever won, and his last ring is undeniably the most Mickey Mouse ring of all the rings.
I screwed up the roster.
All right.
Nade shot was on it over Imbos. I forgot.
And
But he's an
he
Oregon.
played with Aches, TP, and Karma for his first one, I believe.
Yep.
He played with, who was it? Was it Paris? No, it wasn't Parasite. I don't know who his second team was, but I also know that it was a stacked roster, all-time roster. And then
it was Optic.
He won
it was
with
the Optic roster.
and then he won with Optic. Oh yeah,
No, he won with Optic, and then he won
at the
with
end, wasn't
Dallas
it?
Empire.
Or no, yeah.
That
So
was
he
his
won.
third ring.
He won with Karma, Aches, and TP.
All right, let's
as
be.
his first
We got
ever
it. We
ring,
got to
then it was
remember
Optic
that
Dynasty,
third
and then
ring.
it was the Mickey Mouse, Dallas Empire.
You got to remember that was online the whole year. We know how online COD is. It's inconsistent as hell. It always has been, always will be. And he had Clay, Illy, Hugh, and Shotzi. Shotzi and Illy turned out to be 2 superstar phenoms. Hugh, Zio, they're nasty together. Like, let's be real, we're seeing it right now. It's just taking some time to form. And then you got one of the top 5 goats, Clay. Like, that roster was stacked.
Also, someone was on the stuff on Empire that year.
Someone said that in chat.
Self-admittedly.
Somebody said that in chat. Yep.
Yeah, he was on the stuff. Michael's secret sauce.
We can just come out and say what it is. Everybody knows what it is.
So I'm just saying.
I
I
mean,
just don't want to say it.
I'll,
But we
I'll say it.
all know what we're
I don't give
talking
a flying
about.
fuck. I'll say it. So like, obviously, who came out and said that he was on Adderall. It took his life over, and he finally realized that he needed to get off of it, and he's been sober since.
And
I
Hey,
know there's been a big
and
issue in the league as a whole. I guarantee, I know going to local lands, I've witnessed it firsthand
the
that
tune
these local
cheese,
land people
Addy and
are
tune cheese.
adding up.
and
I've
all jokes
witnessed walking in
aside,
the bathroom and them all handing them out to each other at locals. It's kind of one of those things that is pretty fucked up.
Yep.
all jokes aside, thank God he's off of it. It is a
Yes.
dangerous
Yes.
thing to be
It is.
abusing substances.
Yeah.
Like it is a very dangerous thing, and he's a great guy. All right, so all jokes aside, he's a great guy, and I'm glad that he's making a healthier choice for himself. But
I
you
Speaking
will
of
can't
say,
how,
deny that it's a performance enhancing drug,
speaking of
and it was
healthier choice,
online. It was
speaking of
Mickey Mouse.
healthier choices, why don't you talk about our second sponsor of the day, who has healthier supplements on their webpage that is an
Absolutely
alternative
so.
to Adderall.
This last segment was brought to you by Glitch Energy, the official choice of Hyped Esports. If you need extra aim assist, or if you just need the energy to get your tasks done throughout the day, Glitch Energy is the choice for Hyped Esports. And if you want to have that extra aim assist or the energy to get something done, go to checkout at Glitch Energy. Use code HYPEDGG. That is HYPEDGG for 10% off your entire purchase.
on their website they do have obviously some energy supplements. They also have, I think they have like vitamin supplements as well. So they have a wide variety of mixing supplements. You can mix in water. They have pill supplements that I'm very interested in. I'm about to actually be using code HYPEGG very soon. I'm going to be getting some of the in-game enhancement focuses. It's just kind of one of those things that whenever you don't want to make a drink, whenever you just want something fast, pop a supplement. That's actually proven all natural base. It's not going to be anything that's going to, be addictive. It's not going to harm your body. It's kind of one of those things that Glitch really focus on is giving you good product, and that's going to be good, clean product. That's going to be better for you in the long run because they understand, obviously with drinks that way, a lot of them are sugar based. These don't have sugar. This is going to be pretty much, a thing that you can get some of these caffeine free as well. If you are kind of one of those ones that you want to avoid the caffeine, they do have caffeine free products as well.
But Prod, I'm on a diet, so what if I wanted to not have any calories?
Any calories? Well, that's a great thing because they are 0 calories all around their products. They don't believe in having calories on that. It's a lot healthier of an alternative. That is one thing that they truly fully believe on, and they are fully convinced. And that's why we're choosing them as well. We want to feel the best about ourselves. We don't want to feel groggy. We don't want to feel like shit after we take some energy. So 0 calories. You don't have to worry about breaking that diet there, D. Kind of keep your phone there as well. So.
All right. Anything else we need to go over on? I think we want to go over the changing of the tide in the COD and NFL scene. I think that was what we wanted to talk about.
So, with Karma retiring as the first ever Call of Duty Pro to 3 rings, as Crim6 retiring as the absolute all-time winningest COD Pro, as Scump retiring as the all-time cracked pro, and with Formal being the all-time esports pro by being the only multi-FPS esport pro to win a ring on LAN, Shotzi, the only one to win a ring on LAN on 2 different games. All right? That is immensely tippable. But with all of them gone from the COD scene, I think the next up is obviously Envoy. We all know that on Optic Chicago, he was supposed to be the prince to take Scump's role. Unfortunately, that year turned out to be a bad year for Optic. The whole merger went through, so somebody had to get dropped, and it's never going to be Scump. So I think Envoy, Simp, and Abizi, the Tiny Terrors, obviously, they're crazy. I think Pred and Shotzi, they may be on Optic together next year. Who knows? I mean, really, it's anybody's guess where Pred's gonna go after this
Fred
year.
and Shotzi would be nasty.
They would be a duo to compete with the Tiny Terrors for sure.
Yep.
I think Dashy obviously is probably the most talented AR in the league, other than Celium.
When he puts in the work, he is the most talented AR, and you can
Absolutely. So I think for sure the future of the CDL in terms of talent is looking great.
It's bright. Now when it comes
I
to
think
everything else,
the last thing I want to say before I shut up is I think the teams to look for going forward are Atlanta FaZe. I think they are always going to it's ran by FaZe. They're always going to try and keep a talented roster. Same thing with Optic Texas. Same thing with the LA Thieves. I think those are the best 3 teams, and obviously I'm going to put Subliners as my fourth, as the top 4 teams to continue to dominate the CDL.
I will hop in, and now we're gonna talk. Since we're talking about the 2 goats, and we're talking about the changing of the tide. We talked about the COD side with Scump being gone. Who's replacing him? Who's coming? Who's next up? And now we're gonna talk about the NFL. Brady's gone. We've already kind of seen the changing of the tide. I'm very passionate about this. I see this a lot. If you look at the playoffs this year, every single player in the final 8 teams before we got to the Super Bowl were all under the age of 30. You had Dak Prescott was the oldest at I think he was 28. You had Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, phenomenal by the way. Brock Purdy, if he didn't get hurt in that game, they probably had a chance. You could see he couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't. When he got hit in the wrist, they were handing it off. McCaffrey tried to throw a freaking pass. Something was up with his wrist. Hopefully he gets better soon. And then on the AFC side, Mahomes, young goat. Joe Burrow, young goat. Who were the other two? Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen. Literally, the young talent at the quarterback position, it's going to be a future to see. I'm telling you, when you talk about the GOATs of our era, we had, and I'm saying our era because we grew up watching these guys. I mean, they still you can say that. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, who's still in the league. He's
He struggled. I don't think. I think he needs to kind of. I kind of feel like he needs to go with another Tom Brady moment. Go ahead and retire.
I think he just needs to get out of there and take a shot at another organization. I think he needs to stay in the NFC though because the AFC is freaking stacked. The AFC is stacked. Obviously Tom Brady, and to look if we're doing kind of what going off D went. The teams I'm looking out for in the next 5 to 10 years, obviously the Chiefs are going to stay dominant as long as Mahomes is there. The Bengals.
As long as Mahomes is there and healthy.
Yes. Joe Burrow, he's him. He's turned around that organization from being a literally borderline poverty franchise 2-14 the year before he was drafted to literally going to the Super Bowl and one field goal away from going back to the Super Bowl again. I mean, as long as he's there, they're gonna have a shot at a Super Bowl every year. Every year they're gonna have a shot.
Whenever it kind of comes down to the talk of Burrow and Mahomes, I would go to say that these are probably going to be the top 2 QBs in the NFL for the next few years at least. I mean, if you kind of see,
I think
easily, if you see the stats if you see the stats from both these very young QBs, they are putting up numbers, being young in the league. Obviously, the bodies are healthy, which Mahomes just came off of an injury. He's still not fully healed. They had a battle against Burrow and his crew. That was a damn good game to watch. Regardless of whoever went, you have, I would say, one of the top 2 QBs in the Super Bowl for sure, without a doubt. I mean, I think you put Mahomes a little bit above Burrow just for the fact that he does have that ring. You know, he's obviously
He's also got two
he's
more
he's
years in the league than Burrow, so I mean that helps
exactly.
too.
So I mean, it definitely helps. You know, Burrow coming in as young as he is and as hot of a start as he's had, having less years. You know, already being Super Bowl performance. I mean, you just these QBs are the future, and I
Yes.
think a lot of people are going to find that out very fast. I mean, you have two of the most talented QBs, two of the most talented teams. Um, Sadly,
Hey,
you know, they have to play each other to get to the Super Bowl. I wish that
Yeah,
could be the
I
Super
mean, you
Bowl
gotta throw
matchup.
Josh Allen in there too, though. Like that,
yes.
this battle is for the AFC title every year for the next 10 years is going to be something special. You could even throw Herbert in. That's four teams that you can almost guarantee one or two of them are always going to be in the AFC Championship for the next
Can I get
decade.
a
I
can I
mean,
get a
it's
upset
gonna
alert
be
real quick?
really, it's gonna be really hard for any of these. Like, I mean, if Rodgers goes to the Jets, which is what's being rumored right now, like that's what he's gonna have to battle through Josh Allen and Mahomes or Burrow or Herbert or all of them just to get to the AFC Championship. That's that
I'm
that
gonna need a upset alert right now because I
I
have potentially the biggest dark horse team to become a dominant
let
force in
me.
the NFL for
I'm
years to
pulling up
come.
the upset alert right now.
All right, are you guys ready for this?
Yep.
The fucking Broncos, baby, because I'm a Saints fan and they just signed Sean Payton, one of
That
the
is
winningest
true.
coaches of all time. He is potentially the single greatest offensive mind in NFL history, right up there with Andy Reid. All right, I mean, we're talking all-time offensive genius. And with Russell Wilson at quarterback, Broncos country, let's rock.
I don't hate that take. It's just gonna take it's gonna take a lot out of Sean Payton's coaching ability to get through those four teams.
Absolutely.
Can he
But
do it?
I think it can be done.
Can he do it? Yes, that AFC West is going to be stacked next year. And then on the NFC side, Jalen Hurts is him. He's a beast. The Eagles are going to be dominant for the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to be there every year competing. If I had to take a dark horse team from each side, and 49ers too, if Purdy stays the quarterback, they keep him signed, yes. If I had to take a dark horse team, a team that's I'm going to define that as a team that's been bad the last couple years that can turn it around in the next couple from each conference. I'm going to take, let's see, AFC. AFC, let's go through it real quick. Jets can turn it around. I like what Salah's doing. That defense is young. They're glass eaters. They're hungry. They're out for blood. Every single player on that defense. Sauce Gardner is an elite corner already. He's literally going to be rookie of the year on the defensive side of the ball.
Did you just say that they are glass eaters? Is that what we're?
That is a term that was used this year in the league.
It wasn't ass eaters.
So it's pretty much it's those people that got that dog in them. Okay, they got that dog in them.
I mean, they might have the dog in them, you know, but like you gotta be careful what you say because there's glass eaters, crayon eaters, glue eaters. You know, there's
Hey,
a lot
you know,
of
can
specifications
someone
in it.
in chat back me up, or did I say the Jets earlier and then it was Orbz that said fucking, oh, well, Nathaniel Hackett?
Okay, I don't think Nathaniel.
Oh.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. If Nathaniel Hackett play coaches like he did in Green Bay and Rodgers does go there, they have a shot. Okay.
True,
Okay.
not true.
But if he coached like he did in Denver with Russ, Broncos country, let's die.
Broncos country. That's right.
And then on the NFC, I like they need a quarterback, but I like the Saints. I do. I'm giving D something to smile about here. Okay.
I'm laughing at you, not with you. I'll be honest, dog. We are chalked. We are in full rebuild.
I like them in the next couple of years though because I like that defense and I like Olave and I like if it depends on who else they can bring in a receiver, but
So
I like
As I
Taysom Hill
understand it,
as a receiver and or quarterback, but if they can get a solid quarterback to just take all the snaps, like a
yeah.
like a, I mean, who's a free agent this year? Maybe they give Jimmy G a shot, or maybe they trade for Trey Lance.
See, my brother and I had this discussion before I went to work today. So as I understand it, the Saints traded Sean Payton for a first-round pick this year, which is we somehow got absolutely finessed, by the way. The Broncos finished terribly, and we got like the 29th pick
They probably traded their
instead
pick.
of like a top 10.
They
Yeah,
probably
they did.
yeah,
They
yeah,
traded
yeah.
it to the Niners.
Yeah.
So we got absolutely fleeced. The front office is in shambles. But that said, what we can do, because we have a first-round pick this year, we can potentially rewrite a wrong. And if you remember, when Lamar Jackson was in the draft,
Yep.
the Saints had the chance to draft him.
And
Who they
didn't.
got instead was Marcus Davenport, as you may know, is a pretty damn good defensive end, but who can't stay healthy,
Yep.
and he's almost never on the field. So, with that, we have a first round pick. Then we have a second and a third, I believe, in the next 2 years. So, what we could do is we could trade and get Lamar Jackson for those picks. And then we have a quarterback. That's our guy.
That is
We have
doable.
receivers. We have our offense is fine.
Well, that's why
You
I
know,
like
our
the
defense is
Saints.
fine. It'll only be a question of can Dennis Allen remove his head from his anus, and can we draw up some offense?
I'm just gonna say, they have a lot of plays where they run with Taysom Hill. If they incorporate those with Lamar Jackson, a quarterback, things can be done.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
and this is a
Lamar
literal
Jackson
stat, by the way.
And Lamar Jackson in a Saints uniform would be a scary sight for the NFC South, which is currently dog shit. The entire division is terrible.
This was the worst year the NFC South has ever been. But my point is this: this is a literal statistic, and this may blow your mind. Games where Taysom Hill has touched the ball 5 or more times, the Saints win. And in games where he doesn't do that, we have lost soundly. And so, my point is this. The Saints have consistently not been giving Taysom Hill touches. I don't know why they hate themselves so much, or why they hate the fans so much, and why they don't want to see themselves win. But if they bring in Lamar Jackson, you bet your ass Taysom Hill is getting more touches.
Oh yeah, you got a dual threat. You got a dual threat 1-2 punch
Dual,
there.
it's a dual threat.
Dual threat. You can put Lamar Jackson in the slot, dude. He's gonna juke some people. With that being said, we're gonna try to get to the next segment here in a second. But just because you brought up a stat, I want to bring up a stat. As most people know, I'm a diehard Bengals fan. Always have been. Pretty much 20 years now, because I started watching them at age 4. So almost 20 years I've been watching every single game. I've been to over 10 in person. It hurt every bone in my body when they lost, but I kind of had a feeling they were, because if you look at the stats, because I'm going to bring out a stat for you, when Joe Burrow has been sacked 5 or more times, the Bengals in the last 2 years are like 5-14.
Yep.
When Burrow is sacked 4 or less times, they are 14-0.
And by the way, 4 is a lot of times to be sacked in a game.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That's an egregious amount. And even then.
But if you look at,
like,
they only lost 4 games this year in the regular season. Every single one of them, he was sacked 5 or more times.
Well, I will attest as well that Orbz is a diehard Bengals fan. Once the Chiefs won, he deactivated his Twitter for a little bit. He was very, very down bad. I kind of gave him a little shit talk because obviously, you know, I live close to Kansas City. I support the Chiefs. I don't watch too much football, just on the fact of I think it's gone too much political. So I don't give them as much
I
support
just
as I
want to
used
see the
to.
Super Bowl, man. They haven't won one. They've been a team since 1968.
Honestly, I do agree. I would love to see.
They will get. If they don't
get
get one with Burrow, this franchise is truly cursed. But I think Burrow's gonna get it done. I don't know what year it's gonna be. It's gonna have to be a year fucking Mahomes tears his ACL or some shit.
There are only
I hope that
Tyreek
doesn't happen. I hope he can just make it. It's gonna have to be a year. The Chiefs have a couple bad games. The Bengals get the 1 seed. They get to host throughout the playoffs, and they just get a free ride to the Super Bowl. It's gonna have to be that. And
Don't give him Tyreek Hill.
that's
There are
Man,
only two
that's
reasons.
doable. And that's doable. Like if the Chiefs have a hard schedule, maybe next year with freaking Sean Payton and the Broncos beat them twice, maybe. But with that,
Very
I
doable.
think it's time to get to the third segment.
Real quick, there's
Yep.
only two reasons the Bengals didn't win the Super Bowl last year.
The
Only
offensive
two.
line.
The offensive line and Eli Apple. Now, I'm not saying,
There's 3
that
reasons,
Eli
but
Apple
I'll throw in
should
my reason at the
retire.
end.
but holy fuck. As a Saints fan who had Eli Apple on their team, after having Brandon Browner, who was also terrible, Eli Apple is one of the worst. And in that year that they lost the Super Bowl to the Rams, Eli Apple, among rated corners with eligible snaps, I think out of 160 corners, he rated dead last.
I just want to say, our corner, our CB1 has been hurt since week 4, towards ACL, out for the year. If we have him, it might be a different story. But I just want to say, we were the number 2 team to sign Xavier Howard this offseason, and we didn't do it. If we pulled a string there, we probably the 1 seed. I'm telling you, that's our weakest point on that team is the defensive backfield. Cam Taylor-Britt, amazing, literally rookie, 2nd round pick, played his ass off all year. He stepped up when he needed to. I will agree. Eli Apple is the weak point in that defense.
Antichrist. He's the Antichrist.
If we had Chidobe Awuzie in the whole year with Cam Taylor-Britt taking Eli Apple's spot and Dax Hill, teeing up in the backfield, that's a good defensive backfield. But also the refs in that Super Bowl, like you cannot tell me that holding call on Logan Wilson on 4th and 10 to literally win. That was some
whack.
that was the whack that behind the Saints no call in the NFC Championship, which I
That is the worst of all time.
that is the worst of all teams.
and
But
it's not close.
behind that's 2nd or 3rd, man. Like you're talking about
I
a
think it's
game-changing play. They are down 4, 2 minutes to go with what 1 or 2 timeouts left. They're not getting the ball back if they give Joe Burrow. It's 3rd and 10 or 4th and 10. I can't remember. They can't get a field goal. They can't. They need a touchdown to win. And you're gonna call a holding when he just had his hand placed on his back fucking shoulder, not grabbing, literally just his hand to here to brace himself when he goes to smack the ball away. Yeah, that was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. But let's get on. We ready for the locks of the week, boys?
So before we do this, as you can all see, that we have some nice merch on as well.
Yes.
I just want it to be known.
Twitter bio.
Innovative GG. They are the official merch partnership with us as well.
Yes.
As you see on his back of his jersey, you can get your gamer tag, you can get your Twitter @ you can kind of get everything specialized. The sleeve.
See, my sleeve doesn't have that.
Hey, hype, baby.
Hype Esports.
I think we got to talk with. I think we got to talk with Innovative because I thought it was going to be on everything. It's not on the jacket. Hyper might want to talk with Innovative about that. It might just because the jacket sleeve's a little thinner. I don't know, but yes, Innovative GG. Get your hype merch today. Isn't the same
Disclaimer.
code? Hype GG.
Yep.
Get you.
Disclaimer: if you order the white one, it's going to have a gold inside of the hood. This is limited edition. All right, this is the only one like this. Just so you know, if you order the white one, it's gonna have a gold hoodie, just to clarify things and clear things up.
That is the one of a kind hoodie that D has. No one else will ever get that because it's already been changed.
Also, if you want to look like you're an old ass dad and you love dad hats, look at D right there. That man looks like he's in his 30s. He's not.
He's not.
He's below 30s. But
And that's what people love about me.
and he's got the dad hat. The dad hat is
Alrighty.
official.
My
Look,
hair's all
he
messed
he,
up.
he
I
wears the dad hat
had on
to cover
directly
that
after
the
getting
mop
out
of
the
the
shower,
hair.
but that's okay. On the back here, we got Hype D Sports. So if you want to wear it backwards and go this route, you can represent from the back.
All right.
Alrighty,
Come on, man.
yeah.
That's who we
All right. With that, Orbz Locks of the week.
Orbz Locks of the Week.
All right. And we'll go back to this. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the biggest week of the year for football fans. Well, I guess we got a bye week. Who's our picks in the Pro Bowl? I'm just kidding. We don't give a shit. Nobody cares about the Pro Bowl.
Get the fuck out of here. Not talking about the fucking Pro Bowl.
Nobody gives a crap about the Pro Bowl until they do something cool with it. It's just not. It's not gonna
Bro,
be relevant.
Tyler Huntley's in the Pro Bowl, bro. What are we talking about?
Tyler freaking Huntley, man. All right, I'm gonna pull up my notes here on my phone. I'm not looking at my phone, guys. I'm pulling up my locks of the week. All right.
Oh, he's looking at it. It's
You
okay.
You can't parlay this, obviously, because for some reason DraftKings is stupid. But I'm going to give you 5 locks for player props. I'm going to give you my pick for the spread and or win in the Super Bowl, but I'll do that last because we're going to have a whole segment for Super Bowl picks. But these are player props, and then I'll give you who I think will be first TD scorer. Then I'll give you a good payout if you pick it. So, Jalen Hurts. He has 246.5 for yardage, for passing yards. Take the under. If it goes anything like the NFC Championship in the last 2 games, he's going to be running the ball a lot, handing the ball off a lot to Miles Sanders. So I'm going to take the under of 246.5. I think it's mainly going to be him running the ball. You guys can chime in if you want, guys, but that's personally what I think. I think take the under on that. No, I have to keep it like this. Hyper, shut the fuck up. Patrick Mahomes 290.5. If that's a high number. But with Mahomes still being injured, I think that he's going to rely on the pass game more than his legs. So give me the over 290 because I see this being a high scoring game. Give me the over in the game as well, points wise. Well, I don't know what that line is. Let me see. The over in the game is 105. No, wait. 50. I was going to say, that's a lot. It's 50.5. I'm taking the over. I think they'll both score 27 points easily. Miles Sanders over 58.5 is going to be a lock as well. Like I said, Eagles relying on the run game a lot. They have been all year. That offensive line is a bunch of tanks. They're all units. I think they get that done. And then give me Miles Sanders over 5.5 receiving yards. They're going to run a screen, right? They got to run at least run screen play where he gets 6 yards. I think that's an easy lock. Those are my 5 locks for player props. And then give me Dallas Goedert first touchdown scorer. I think their Eagles get a quick drive off the rip, and Dallas Goedert gets hit on like a 5-yard TD pass on a quick out route. Anything you guys want to add before we get to the Super Bowl picks?
Nope. All good.
Absolutely not.
Write those down. Use a couple of them in your parlays this week, guys, if you want to hit your parlays. Trust me on that. And if they all 5 hit next week it'll be 2 weeks in the podcast since Super Bowl's in a week and a half. But you're going to hear about it on that Hyped Cast if I hit them. I'm just saying. And I'm going to say I told you so if you don't use them. So.
And if you follow his parlays and they all hit, you owe him a follow at the very least, and probably 5 gifted.
I do have a sports betting TikTok that will have those picks as well. Those picks will all be on the sports betting TikTok. I deserve a follow on that at least, I think. And maybe you buy some glitch energy. Yeah. Or some hype
energy, some
Hype
sports merch.
All right. With that being said, I think it's time we do
It'll be our final little segment here.
our Super Bowl picks.
Picks. D, go ahead and start off.
Hang on. Let me.
I
I think I'm going first according to how I have it laid out. So
Then that shit.
with that being said, me, I'm. I mean, I'm just gonna have to go with my guy, Jalen Hurts, and I'm going with the Eagles, and I'm gonna give a score 35-31 final score. Noah, your Super Bowl prediction.
So my Super Bowl prediction, I'm gonna have to go with Mahomes and the Chiefs. Obviously Mahomes has been a menace in the league since he's been in there. He's obviously made a lot of progress. As long as he is fully healthy, as long as his ankle is fully healed, as long as the O line, defensive line, as long as they're all playing to their standards that they've played before. You have Travis Kelsey. He's one of the big factors on that team as well. It's his go-to man a lot of the times. I just think, Casey's going to pull out the bag. I'm going to go probably the same score except for the Chiefs' favor.
And then we have D Money, your Super Bowl pick.
fly, Eagles, fly. I'm gonna take the Eagles. Honestly, there's a good amount of time before the Super Bowl starts. Because originally my thought is, well, Mahomes is hurt. It's probably gonna be a low scoring game. But honestly, because there's so much time between now and the Super Bowl, I honestly expect everybody just about 100% on this game. I'm going to say Eagles 38-35.
Looks like we all have the same consensus when it comes to the scoreline. It's going to be a high scoring affair. That means those overs are going to hit, boys. So, big brain. Those overs are going to hit. I still think Jalen Hurts hits the under, though, on passing yards. Just because I feel like a lot of the offense is going to be him and Miles Sanders running the ball. But, yeah, those are our Super Bowl picks. Closing remarks, guys? I mean...
One thing I'm going to say is in this org, our Discord, which is going to be linked on our Twitter, if you want to join the Discord, we are actually going to be doing a Super Bowl watch party in our Discord. Grab some drinks, grab some food, come hang out, come watch the Super Bowl, support your team. It's going to be a fun time in there.
Somebody put the link in the chat right now, please.
I'll grab it real quick.
That'd be great.
Be posting it right now for you guys. Go ahead and click that link. Go ahead and join right there. That is going to be the official Hype Esports Discord. We'll be doing watch parties. We do a lot of, hangout sessions. If anybody wants to come chill with any of us while we're in the Discord, feel free. We play lots of games. We have Apex. We have Valorant. We have Call of Duty. We have Halo. We have a lot of people playing a lot of different games. Feel free to come, get to know us all. Come hang out. Come tell us who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Also, if you want to come, we do major watch parties as well. And come watch Boston with us. It's going to be a lit time. We could be watching Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
What if
Sunday,
I don't know anyone and I'm scared
day.
to join? Hyper, you're the scariest person in that court, dude.
Don't listen to Hyper. He's
Yep.
a bitch.
That Hyper's the scariest person in that entire court.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Get the Skittles out for this man.
Orbz, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, join that Discord. Follow the Twitter. Twitter has literally everything you need to know about our sponsors, and we have a merch link on there. If anyone wants to purchase anything before the next segment, if you do, buy merch.
Add us on Twitter and let us know when you receive it as well.
Yes,
let us know when
take
you
a
buy
picture.
it. Let us know
Take
when
a-
you receive it.
Yep, take
and
a
let us
picture.
know.
Take a picture in it.
picture,
Add
wear
us.
the merch.
We'll retweet it. We might even feature you on the next Hypecast. We'll feature some tweets maybe. That's a segment we can add in.
And guess what? On that note, I'm going to wrap up this podcast by saying, first and foremost, thank you to everybody that showed up to the podcast tonight. And I want to make an announcement that, speaking of Glitch Energy, speaking of showing you guys on stream, we're going to be doing our Glitch Energy Plays of the Week on our podcast every week. So, if you guys want a chance to win a tub of Glitch Energy, if you guys want to be featured on our Twitter, on our TikTok, on our YouTube, then all you have to do is we're going to use the hashtag StayHypedCC. All right. StayHypedCC. Put that on your tweet, put that on your TikTok, put it on your YouTube short or video, and we're going to search for that hashtag every day until the next podcast, and then you have a chance to win some sweet merch. And all you have to do is follow Hype Sports on Twitter and post your clips, and that is it.
We will pick the top 5 and add them in before the next. Obviously, we have a couple things we got to get going with Glitch. Make sure the partnership's good before we get that rolling. But as soon as it's ready to go, we're going to start getting the clips out onto the podcast. We'll pick the top 5. And probably us 3 will pick them. And then
We're gonna do some polls on who think the
we'll
best.
either,
best
we're either
clip
going to
is.
do a poll in the chat, or we might just have us 3 decide. And if we have a tiebreaker, we'll have chat decide the tiebreaker. But unbiasedly,
regardless of who is hosting or is sponsoring this, we're still going to be doing this. This is
it's still gonna happen.
purely for the community. Period.
I think that's it. Get your clips out there. You can send them as early as tomorrow. As soon as we
Or
are
right
ready,
now, they have
as
them.
soon as we are ready to do the clip segment, we're gonna get those going through those clips. If they happen to be from a creator in the org, they'll also go in montages for the month highlight reels.
With that being said, that is going to do it for our first episode of our podcast, the Hyped Cast. And as always, it's been Prod, D, and Orbz. We appreciate you guys. We will be live next Wednesday with our second episode of the podcast. Stay tuned. We are going to be tweeting out a lot of updates as well. Our COD roster going to Boston is going to be a pretty good roster. We hopefully you're gonna make some noise as well. And appreciate you all for tuning in. Until next time.
Get the fuck
Stay
out!
hyped. Stay hyped, baby.